So that brings us to the conclusion of our two-day annual symposium. I want to thank all of you who are still with us at the end of this day. I think it's been a really interesting couple days. Sometimes we come to the end of this event and we've spent most of the time talking about the amazing consensus we have on everything, because that really is what we're about. We talked about the NAC and the DAC, and a number of things related to NextGen and its implementation. Today we focused a little bit more on some of the new entrants, some of the major challenges that we're having both in the technical world and the political world. And I guess I would sort of characterize it that we've still got some areas where we aren't at consensus. We've got some areas where we're trying to work toward consensus. There's a little bit, but we're still working toward it. I think we have some other areas we heard over these days where we are just sort of agreeing to disagree. But at the end of the day, I think what most people are doing in this world is finding ways to disagree without being disagreeable, because we really have some big challenges to overcome. And I think we did a lot in these few days to highlight how much of this is being talked about in so many of our committees at Rtca, and we really look forward to continuing to get the really tough challenges, because that's what's fun, is to work on all these really hard things. So I would like to just take a little bit of time to thank, again, our sponsors that you can see on the screen now. We had quite a few sponsors, and we seriously, literally could not pull this off without all of their support in all the things that they've done for us, including a lot of the speakers who came. So I'd like one more round of applause for our sponsors. And maybe one more round of applause for an amazing group of panelists and moderators and speakers that we've had over the last few days. And I'd like to draw also just attention to a really great speech. I hope that some of you were able to hear Michael Huerta, the administrator, speak yesterday at lunch, and a really kind of unique conversation today at lunch about and seeing some of the future leaders that I hope will be at one of these events in the not too distant future. So it's been a real pleasure to be a part of this, making all of this happen. And if you would just indulge me for just one more minute, I'd like to thank a few more people, and that is the staff who have really made this look easy for the last couple of days. And I literally had less to do with setting up and running this than ever before. I gave some ideas, and literally Andy and Al took that and ran with it, and had really put all these panels together. And they know that I'm good with ideas, not so good with details. It's really terrific to have people like Andy and Al, and Trin also helping putting the panels together, and Leela, who's I think back there, who's helped through the whole process of making sure that everything works with our contracts and all the things you have to do to put this together. On our team, Darren made the luncheon yesterday work, and I know that might look easy, but a lot goes into making sure that I don't get up there and completely blow it during the awards sessions. Clive is our sort of chief person running around making sure everything's working well on stage. Perla running the tweet wall for the last 2 days, has done a really great job. Karen is really our chief herder and has done a good job. I think she's going to be wearing tennis shoes for the next few days. Alina, even coming into this, is sort of our chief fashion police. So she's made sure that we all looked really good and also took care of a lot of things. Claudia has really been holding down the fort through all of this and keeping some of the work that has to continue through these 2 days. She's been here, but she's really been working Rtca issues. Rebecca's been back there trying to keep up with me and all the people up here and making sure the slides worked beforehand and during this event. Marcel making sure everything went smoothly in registration, and then everything else that needed working. And again, I think I mentioned Leela also working there in registration. So that's the Rtca staff. I want to give a round of applause to all of them. And last but not least, none of this would come together if it weren't for Andrea Barry back there. And your team, Lynn and Mark as well. So we want to thank you, and for Ben for all the pictures that are being taken. So we will have pictures out there for all of you to see. Most of the sessions were videotaped. That will become available so that you'll be able to come back and remember some of the things that happened over these last 2 days. So, you know, we're here to continue. We'll have an event more than likely the same time next year, so watch this space. We should be closing in on date and time fairly soon, and we'll see if we have some of these same issues to talk about next year. There is your app has, again, a way to come in and rate the sessions. There's also a post survey. I encourage all of you to take that. We definitely learn from what you tell us. We learn from what kinds of panels you want to have. We try to listen to that feedback and try to come back and do what you ask us to do. So thank you all for being here, and hope to see you all here next year. Thanks.